Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over the patch notes and changes for Season 7. To start it off, we've got some gameplay with the LH1, and then at the end of the video, we've got a really good game on medium using the new drill charge. I hope you guys enjoy the footage, and we'll go ahead and get started. This beginning part is going to be a little longer than most videos just because I do want to run through the terminal attack specific changes that have taken place. If you would like to see the full patch notes, I have linked them in the description. Of course, there are a bunch of great videos going over all of them. Today, we're just going to lean into what is working and not working and what changes have impacted terminal attack. With that, starting with the new stuff. You can't use H+ Infuser, you can't use the Heavy's Healing Orb. I would love to see them add some form of healing to terminal attack, especially, I mentioned it in my last medium video, there is a way to heal on medium right now with the data reshapers, so I would love to see other gadgets that can heal. I understand we can't have infinite healing and the issues that could create with Healing Beam on medium if you had like 4 mediums and a heavy running Healing Beam just to tank all of the damage possible. On the other hand, the medium's new drill charge is available to us and it's very good. I have yet to decide, and a lot of the other players I've talked to also are kind of on board with this. No one's really decided yet if the breach drill is better or worse than goo grenades, because that is the slot it takes up. But for most people, I think it's probably going to land on goo grenades, and that's just because goo grenades have a more wide range of uses for them. You can close off doorways, create ramps to put your jump pad on, you can stop enemies from pushing you, stop melee enemies from running at you. There's just a lot more times when goo grenades come in handy, and even though I have a great game with the breach drill later, and I do actually have a few times when I use it and it works, it's not the most effective thing. And of course it suffers from the issue that the flashbang grenade, you can simply turn away from it. On the other hand, with talking about abilities and flashbangs, they have made some updates to abilities. Now, the anti-gravity cube, the APS turret, and the flashbang grenades have all been adjusted. Anti-gravity cube just got a decrease in cooldown. Cooldowns don't count, doesn't matter. They decreased the health consumed on the APS turret projectiles to 20%. Basically, now your APS can take 5 projectiles instead of 4. And that's really nice. I don't know a ton of people using APS right now, but I know a few players who are, and I've seen it be effective in players that I've played against. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a slight uptick in APS. The biggest thing is, are you going to take APS over Data Reshaper right now for health regen? No. Are you going to take it over your jump pad for your movement? No. And then your last slot is either goo grenades, APS, or the new drill charge, and APS is on the bottom of the list for me right now. At least, unless we're going against a team of GL players. How about that? In addition to that, they did change flashbang grenades. I have yet to decide if this is a nerf or a buff. I've been using flashbang grenades non-stop. I've really been trying to get a good gameplay with them since the new update dropped, but I just can't seem to pull it together. I'm not very good with them. Hopefully I'll have a gameplay up in the next week and get some footage for that. But outside of that, the change here is that they increase the view angle fall of reducing effects when looking away. If you think of the 360-degree circle around your character, basically the small sliver or slice of that cake or pie that used to be immune to the flashbang grenade. So if you were looking and the flashbang grenade fell into that small sliver, you were immune to its effects. That slice just got bigger. This overall means that you can now use the flashbang grenades to do things like drop it at your feet and just keep running away from it. And since that angle is wider, even if you turn your head a little, you won't be affected by it, and the person running at you obviously will be looking directly at it and be affected by it. Other than that, I have heard mention of people who said that an effective strategy would be underhanding it in front of you and then sliding in front of the grenade to shoot at someone in the open, and when they look at you to shoot back, they'll be flashbanged. I think that's an interesting strategy. I haven't gotten it to work super well for myself yet, but that is something I'm learning to do right now and want to try out. So the flashbang grenade may have some more use cases now, though overall I think this is a pretty minor change. Gravity Vortex got a decrease in cooldown, doesn't matter. Let's just skip it. Some gameplay changes were made to Cash Out, World Tour, and they did increase the reconnect window in terminal attacks. So now if you are in a 5-stack, you can join the game back at any point in the game. So you don't have just the 210-second window as before, it's just whenever. They did rebalance the environmental damage values, and I'll show you some of what that looks like for destroying props and buildings, and they also adjusted with damage values to the buildings. They also changed the way that damage shows on walls, and we'll get some footage of that going here. They adjusted the KS-23 to increase the amount of damage it deals to walls, so it takes 2 shots instead of 3. Same thing with the minigun. It can destroy 3 walls per magazine now instead of 2. They did nerf the sledgehammer. Kind of sucks. Don't care. Don't use the sledgehammer. But they did nerf it, and it is going to be a lot worse of a choice. But in terminal attack, it was a pretty bad choice before. Outside of that, the 93R has an increased magazine size from 21 to 24. I think that this is a pretty minor change overall. The gun had a very fast reload time before. The main reason that I think this is notable is that this gun is best when taking on heavies and mediums. My personal issue with burst guns is I have a hard time tracking targets within each burst, so unless they are slow and not strafing quickly, i.e. not a light, then I'm going to have a hard time hitting them. So as long as they're slow and not strafing quickly, I can keep my shots on them easily within each burst. And as a result, I really only like to use the 93R against heavies and mediums, but it's also one of the most effective guns for taking them on because it trucks out a ton of damage just like the FAMAS. That being said, again, it already had a fast reload time, it already had a pretty big magazine. Another burst is nice. I don't think there's any reason to say no to it. I don't see this changing anyone's opinion on the gun. If you liked it before, you'll like it now. If you didn't like it before, you probably will not like it anymore now. Cerberus got nerfed, thank God. So this reduced the damage per pellet from 10 to 9. And this brings a full shot's damage from 110 to 99. What this means is now it is a full shot and a melee to kill a light with the burn added. So you shoot them, you melee them, and they burn out, but you have to hit them with that quick melee. Same thing is true at the medium and heavy. You just need to add a quick melee in order for it to work. Overall, I don't really care much about the Cerberus. I didn't find it to be that overpowered. I think shotguns are easy to play against, but it's the most annoying shotgun to play against, so I'm not afraid to see a nerf. Personally, I used it quite a bit when I was on medium, so I am a little sad to see that go, but what can you do? LH Juan. Increased damage from 40 to 42. This one shocked me. I thought this would be super unnoticeable, but it is incredibly noticeable how good this gun is now. This changed our shots to kill on medium mostly. On light, you were still 2 to the head, or 4 to the body, or 1 to the head, 2 to the body. Nothing changed there. But our shots to kill on medium is a little bit faster with those headshots. So we can 3-tap to the head now, which is an insanely quick time to kill on medium. Unfortunately, the gun still is really high on recoil, so hitting headshots can be difficult. But I've been trying to get better and better with this gun on light, and I've been loving this gun in terminal attack. In my opinion, in the right hands, the LH1 is one of the best weapons in terminal attack right now. It's good at countering snipers because you can 2-tap them to the head. I've had some great experiences playing with Invis and LH1 to counter snipers on like Kyoto because they're often sitting on roofs and you just look for the glare and then 2 to the head, they're dead. It's also really good at countering and working against mediums with long-range guns like the FCAR and the FAMAS. It's just great at pulling people off of head glitches. Make sure that if you are using it, you are focused on hitting headshots. And make sure you go hang out in the practice range because they added an absolutely awesome new feature in the practice range for you to go shoot at bots. And I've been using that every time I get on to warm up. I've also been using it when I want to try new guns and sights. I think that their addition to the training range was awesome. Other than that, those are the main weapon fixes for right now. I would have liked to see some other stuff. Really would have liked to see a change to the sniper. I anticipate that the sniper will get updated at some point to make it so that it is not a body shot and a melee on lights, or 2 body shots and a melee on mediums, or a headshot and a melee on mediums. It's going to be more, it's going to require you to not get that close to targets anymore because it's a little cheap that you have this long range gun that you can also no scope with at point blank range and melee really quickly. So I would expect to see a change there at some point. It's just been really tough in terminal attack. The fact that you don't get health back and the heavies have 150 once they've lost armor, mediums 125, lights 100, that means you can body shot melee any of the targets once you strip their armor, and it's super easy to strip the armor off of them because you can shoot them across the map while they're engaging you. If they're on attack or defense, it doesn't really matter. So snipers are very oppressive right now, and I anticipate a nerf because it's not really in line with the rest of the game either. Like, even though they're not used as much in other game modes, or the sniper isn't used as much in other game modes, the idea that you can no-scope melee someone and use a long-range gun at close range doesn't really fit the vibe of what the sniper is supposed to be. So I would anticipate some sort of change to that in the near future, or maybe I'm just being hopeful. Outside of that, there are some minor game changes that are going to impact terminal attack. So aim assist, they added camera magnetism and aim snapping to deployables. This just means you have snap to aim on like mines and stuff. It's a good thing. I don't think it's a big difference, but it's a good thing. I mentioned it before, but destruction dynamism, or the dynamism of the destruction, just to ruin my tongue for a second, basically it just is more visible when you're dealing destruction. Flashbang grenades, they say they fixed the hit marker issue. Roll that clip. Alright, as you can see there, I really feel like I clearly hit the guy when I put the breach charge on the wall. And somehow I got no hit marker and no flashbang for him at all, but he was sitting like right in the direction and looking right in the direction of where my flashbang would have landed from that breaching drill, which was tossed out above him. So I'm not 100% certain they fixed that. We'll just have to wait and see. The more I use flashbang grenades, we'll kind of get a better idea of how that's working. Glitch mines fixed a bug which would cause the glitch mine to have extended range. Good, it felt like it had too much range. And other than that, those are the biggest things. There are some general adjustments, some bug fixes, and I'm happy to see the bug fixes. Particularly, if no one's aware, they did update fully automatic weapons to put them on a new system so that we don't get as many instances of I can't ADS or I can't reload. Hopefully the semi-automatic weapons and bolt action weapons, other stuff gets pulled over to that system soon, but fully automatic weapons shouldn't be experiencing that as much, which is awesome. They adjusted the sights a little bit, and this is a big one. I was trying out the sights all over again as a result of this. The CB01 repeater does not have, or they fixed the iron sights so that it doesn't have as much zoom, and they added the reflector sight to it, which is nice. The reflector sight, or the compact reflector sight specifically, received a balancing change for the XP54, CB01, and R357, so that it has reduced zoom value. I only use this on the XP54 pre-nerf, and honestly, yeah, it sucked on the XP, so that's good. The reflector sight decreased magnification from high to medium. Kind of unfortunate. I liked the fact that it had higher zoom. And then the holographic sight rebalanced to ensure this sight has the same magnification on all guns. This affects the XP54 CB01 repeater. So it's just those two. Yeah. I hadn't been using the holographic sight on either of the... Oh, no, I take that back. I did use it on the repeater. I think it was actually my favorite sight at the time because it did have more zoom. That's unfortunate. Overall, I would love to see sights just stay the same. Whether they give them more or less zoom, keep them all on one zoom level, or make minor adjustments to them to give you some form of differentiation between them for feel. It's not really a big deal to me as long as it stays consistent so I can get one sight, learn it, and master it. Other than that, they did discuss cheating for a while. It seems that their game's anti-cheat works really well, and I'm hopeful to see it continue to work well in the future. The last thing I want to go over, and the biggest thing for the video today, is the medium's newest ability, the drill charge, or breach drill. The breach drill has some really unique use cases, and well, I think it can be used with a turret, and basically you can set up a turret like on a roof and then, or on the floor, and then breach into the room and use the turret to shoot people in front of you to have like backup almost. That's really not the best use case for it. Really the best thing to do with it is to place it on a roof and then either drop in with it from another angle after the flashbang has gone off, or drop in as the flashbang goes off. Just make sure you're looking away from the direction it's going off. And alternatively, or lastly, you can put it on one wall and then dematerialize the opposite wall or a wall adjacent to that wall. There's a bunch of different ways this can work. The main thing to note is that the breach drill does have a solid use case for distracting opponents, flashbanging them, or even just getting away from opponents effectively and quickly. You'll see me running through here real quick. I've got some footage of me, and it'll pop up in the gameplay, where I am escaping a player, and I drop the charge on a wall next to me, and that helps me to get away a little faster, or to make sure that if they're following me, they get flash banged with the grenade, and cannot follow me any longer. That being said, of the dozen or so times I tried to do that second move when I was running away, only like twice did it ever actually hit someone. And the issues with that are, if the flashbang is slightly behind a wall, they're not going to get hit by it. If they have already run past it and aren't facing it, it's not going to affect them enough for it to be noticeable. Because of those things, the breaching drill isn't as much a tool for defense or running away as it is for offense and pushing opponents in specific rooms and buildings. I will say that I still need time with it. Much like the flashbang grenades, this is something that takes a minute to get used to. But just in my early play time with it and testing it, I think that this definitely has a place. And I've already seen 1 or 2 players in the top 10 that are switching goo grenades out for the breach drill, which is why I know that it's got some use and some effectiveness, and it should be something to consider. Of course, at the end of the day, again, what this comes down to is you and your playstyle, because you're going to have to replace a piece of gear with this. And odds are that gear is probably not going to be your jump pad / zipline, whichever one you choose for movement. It's probably not going to be the data reshaper until they remove the health regen thing. So there's a good chance that it's going to be your goo grenade or this drill charge. And right now I like the drill charge more, but give me a couple of weeks and talk to me about the goo grenades again. I'll probably be back on them. They're just a little bit too effective. That is it. Not a ton of changes this season, but I'm hopeful to see some adjustments to things like thermal and snipers as the season goes on. If you guys have some changes you wish you saw in this update or are hoping to see it in the next one, make sure you leave those in the comments. Additionally, I will be live on Twitch tonight and throughout the rest of this week, 7 to 10 p.m. as usual. Hope to see you guys there. And in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Have a good day.
Detected! Up there! Gonna use that zip line!
Both teams are down to their final contestant. This one-on-one battle could change everything. 10 seconds left.
Did you see that, viewers? One defender took down the entire enemy.
Next up, round 3.
Teams are warmed up. Time to dive in. Going over there. They're at Terminal B. Watch out at Terminal B.
Just one attack
Never liked that
remains.
one anyway. Yikes! The attackers didn't even get a chance to stop.
strategy and speed proved unbeatable. On behalf of all of us here at the finals, thanks for watching.